All right, yo, welcome back to the Who's Right podcast, and we salvage another one. I don't know how to feel anymore because this sounds like a broken record. We salvaged the last game of the series in all of these, but before we get started, hit that like, subscribe to the channel, let us know what you're thinking. I mean, what are we doing? But before we get started, Victor, how you doing?
Could be better. Didn't have the weekend that we wanted to. The only bright spot was that our the New York Rangers were able to get back into the Eastern Conference Finals. But other than that, the Mets disappointed once again. We had a chance to get back to 500, and we didn't jump on that opportunity. But things were looking up towards the end of that series, and so I think that we shouldn't, just throw the team out right now. I think there's still hope, and we just gotta keep on being with this team like we have our whole lives. So hang in there, guys. I know it's hard, but hang in there.
You sound like a Met veteran. But yeah, this is nothing new for us Met fans. I do believe brighter skies are coming. But let's get into it. Let's review the series. And on Friday, we had Christian Scott Day, and we had Christian's worst game so far. And he just didn't have the stuff this game, and what can you do? The Marlins came in on a two-game winning streak, and they kept it going. Scott gave up those early four runs, but showed a little bit of heart and getting out of a couple jams, but he didn't have the start that we were expecting, so we kind of got off on the wrong foot on this series, and then there's nothing else to say because we didn't hit. We got shut out again. There's not much to say. You got anything to say other than what happened with Scott?
No, he this is gonna happen in a young career. Nothing to be alarmed, nothing to raise your flags about, but it's it just stinks when we're not able to back him up, because obviously we got down early, but there's no excuse for us to be able to have to go down that much. Going down 6 runs, it really stinks, but to get beaten 8-0 is inexcusable. I know we had some people on base, we had some people that had good games, but at the end of the day, like we talked about last time, if they're not hitting in motion, then it doesn't matter. So we have to figure out our chemistry, and I think that the Mets have done that these past couple of days.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's inexcusable. The Marlins are the worst team in the NL, and to be shut out like that, I think it's inexcusable. But other than that, there's not much to talk about in this game. Nimmo was out because he was feeling sick, and from what we heard today, that the stomach bug is going through the whole locker room. That's why we didn't see JD in the third game. It's still inexcusable not to score runs. That's done. That's the third. That's the first game. The second game, we got to change the lineup, guys. This is the lineup that I was talking about. We're having Lindor in the leadoff. He didn't. He's still not batting like Lindor, but he got on base. He scored some runs, and he's getting frisky about stealing bases. Bouncing on the bases yesterday and on to in today's game. This is why I wanted him up in the leadoff position because of his ability to steal bases, and maybe this is what's going to kind of open him up. And Nimmo batting third makes sense. He's our guy, right? He's our best hitter right now. He's the guy that's scoring the most runs. One of the things that I wanted to tell you, Victor, is that the reason why Nimmo is better in the three than, so let's use an example as Acuna for the Braves, is because the bottom of the lineup. our bottom of the lineup is not getting on base. So it's a miracle that Nemo's leading. No, actually, it's saying more about the rest of our team that Nemo is the RBI leader of our team because nobody's getting in on base in front of him. And but when Acuna's leading off, at least you got the bottom of the order, the Braves order getting on base for Acuna. So this is finally the lineup that I was looking for with Lindor in the leadoff, and let's wake him up, And what do you think of the lineup?
It looks like it should be the lineup for the rest of the year. And I don't want it to change. It looks like it works. These past couple of games that we've had this lineup, we've scored 9 and 7 runs, and that's a formula for success. When you're scoring that many runs, the other team usually doesn't catch up to you that way. And I know we're playing the Miami Marlins and not facing great pitching, but we saw just how effective it was when people were getting on base. And Francisco Lindor looked good in that leadoff spot. I know he didn't have a great series offensively, but he was able to get on base. Getting hit by a pitch a couple of times wasn't ideal, but he got on base and he kept the line moving. Pete looks super comfortable in that 2 hole, and I think that solidifies his spot there because he was able to get on base at a fair clip this time around. And when you have Brendan Nimmo leading the team in RBIs, it just makes sense, and it just makes everything flow. And I think it also relieves a little bit of the pressure going down the lineup as well. When you're seeing production from the top of your lineup, it gives you more ease to be able to get at bat and to not have to feel like you're the one having to produce. And that's what might have been what the problem was, because we saw everyone producing in tandem this series. Everyone was getting on base, and from 1 to 9, we were able to continue to keep the line moving. And that's what baseball is about, right? Is keeping the line moving. And so I like this move by the Mets, by Mendoza, and I hope that it stays this way. Last time that Francisco Lindor played leadoff was with the Cleveland Guardians, and look what happened there. They went to the World Series, right? So let's hope this is a formula for success.
Well, yeah, and you talking about how relieves a little bit of the pressure of the bottom of the lineup. That might be true because in game 2 of the series, that's when Bader and McNeil had their best game, and so that might be something. I still don't trust Bader and McNeil. I know Bader had a decent series, and McNeil had one good game. I still don't trust them. For me, Bader has too many base running blunders on base, and it's just, yeah, he had a good series. I give him that, but to me, it's still bring the kids up. Acuna was playing center field the other day down in Syracuse, so bring Acuna up. I'm ready to see Acuna for either McNeil or Bader. I don't care who it is. Bring Acuna up and let's do this. But
Yeah.
let's get.
No, I just want to say I don't know if he's. I still don't know if he's ready, even though he's producing at a good amount. I think we might see him maybe later in July at the earliest. But if McNeil is producing like he did in this last couple of games, I know he didn't have a hit. He only had one hit today, but yesterday he was 2 for 4, and the day before that I think he went 2 for 4 again. And so if he's producing like the old McNeil, then we can see the production continue to keep his job. And Bader just, like you said, he has so many base running blunders that is so frustrating. When he try to go first to third in Sunday's game and just got thrown out by a mile, I was like, man, what are you doing? He thinks he's someone that he's not sometimes, and it's frustrating to see. But he does have wheels, and no, because if he does get on base, he needs to stay on base. It doesn't matter if you get the hit because you don't do anything for your team by getting thrown out. So that was my just my little thought on Bader and McNeil, and I just let's hope that they keep on doing what they're doing, but continuing to improve.
Yeah, no, the problem with the whole McNeil thing is what you said. If we get the old McNeil, and I'm tired of saying that about McNeil, to be honest with you, But let's get to the real concern of this game, and it's we have a 9-5 lead going into the ninth, and kind of what we talked about the last pod, having Diaz go in there and get some confidence, and he got blown up. He got blown up, and we talked about this in the last pod, that my biggest concern is watching that little pep talk that Lindor was giving him in that mound visit, and I was like, oh, that was a concern. And then to have it to come to fruition 2 games later, and him talk about it after the game, that he doesn't know what's going on right now, that he doesn't know how he's lost confidence. When a player starts saying that, that's a concern big time. I know we're jumping into the concerns part of our segment, but I think they're intertwined. This go around, and Diaz not being our closer, obviously after game 2. Mendoza said it's going to be a fluid situation, being the closer, and Diaz not being the closer. It's kind of, oh man, that's a blow. That's a blow.
It definitely is, and it's something that Mets fans don't want to see. I know that there's alarm to be frustrated, and rightly so, because he gave up 3 saves or 4 saves already this year, and each of them could have amounted to a win, and they didn't. And so we could be sitting at above 500 right now, but we're not. And we can't look in the past. We're still in the hunt for these playoffs, and it's easy to look at this series and completely freak out and want to sell the team. Uh, Obviously, he is a concern because you never want to see your closer go down like that. You never want to see him have the confidence to be at an all-time low, to where he's hanging sliders right down the plate for Josh Bell to hit 450 feet. I know he didn't hit it that far, but that's not my point. You never want to see him shaken up like that. And at this point, it's not even just that. It's not even maddening because he knows there's something wrong with him. It's just sad to see. You don't want to see that as your all-star closer, for him to be at that all-time low. I think he bounces back, but it just like I think Mendoza is going to do well by him here. I think he's going to manage him well, where he puts him in less stressful appearances first until he can build his confidence up and not have to have such that pressure that we talked about at the beginning of the episode, um, to save those games. Because even though the last one was a non-save situation, it's still 4 runs, and it's very easy to give that up. And but I think he gets back. I think he can still continue to work at it. But and I know this is just hard because we were going into the ninth with a 4-run lead. But not only that, I think it was on not just our relievers or not just on Diaz, but I was very frustrated with Reed Garrett, and I know that he had a 6-out save in the game 3, but he's had a problem inheriting runners. So I know it's not his problem, but let's hope that Mendoza can, can manage him well and know that he can't manage those, or that Reed Garrett can't handle those situations, because for Severino's line to go from a 3 to a 5 because he let both of those runners that he inherited come in is not good, and it should be addressed. But if it's in a situation where he was today, where he's just coming in fresh off the inning, I think that's the situation he needs to be in. And there was just a lot of head scratching in this game that I think can be addressed. And it's not to say the team is bad. It's just to say that there's problems that need to be fixed, and they easily can be.
Well, I mean, I don't know about easily, because the whole Diaz thing, I don't know if that's an easy fix or not. That's the biggest problem we have right now. And I just don't know, because we have no choice but to get him fixed, because he's here for the next few years. He's not going anywhere, and we need him to be Diaz. So
Yeah, and I think yeah, that's a good point because he does need to get fixed. But when I mean an easy fix, I think that we have somebody to put in that situation. Like Ottavino's been pitching lights out, so he can be a closer for a little bit. But Reed Garrett getting a 6 out save today is also someone that we can rely on for a little bit while Diaz gets his stuff back. So that's what I mean by easy fix. Hopefully, this is a fix in the sense of Diaz will get his stuff back. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and I hope you're right. So let's we'll keep going on this and get to the Reed Garrett save game. We get into game three, and game three, starts off fine. We start knocking in some runs right away in the first inning. Got a 4-run lead, and Mania does give up a 2-run homer in the second though. But luckily we hold on. We had a really nice 4-run first, and then we cap it off with Nimmo hitting that blast in the ninth to give us a little bit of cushion so Reed Garrett can get that 6-out save. And so, like you said, the lineup second day in a row has looked well, even without JD Martinez in the lineup, because JD Stewart is doing his thing. DJ Stewart, man, got it backwards. DJ Stewart is doing his thing, this little spot start for DJ Stewart, also giving Marte a little bit of rest. And we didn't miss a beat with the lineup a second day in a row. So big shout out. The booth was talking about it with Reed Garrett. He got his splitter back down in the strike zone. Last couple outings, he's kind of left it up, and this one he kind of figured it out and got it back down. High fastball with the splitter. As long as you're locating, lethal combination, and he got the save for us.
Yeah, he looked good. Obviously, my concerns were with him inheriting runners, but when he has those bases empty and is able to get in there with a fresh, clean slate, then he looks lights out. Several times he was able to put pitchers away or put batters away with the pitch and strike them out. And for him to be a back-to-back inning guy late in the games is so crucial for the Mets, especially coming off days when we're, taxed from our bullpen not being able to, or from our starters not being able to go lengthy innings. And that's what we've been dealing with this whole year. So Reed Garrett has been a saving grace for us, and we do appreciate his service to this team because who knows where we would be without him. He's got the most wins, and now he has the most saves in our team, which is crazy to say.
that
Um,
is that
but
is crazy to say.
yeah. But not only him, Sean Mania pitched extremely well. Obviously he didn't go as long as he wanted to. He gave up that 2-run homer, but he was able to fight out of trouble. Lowered his ERA to a 3.11 on the season, which is awesome to see out of your third or fourth guy in the rotation. That's perfectly where you want to be. He was able to keep us in the game long enough for us to stay with it. And this is what we've been wanting this whole season is consistency in our rotation. And it seems like Sean Mania has had that in back-to-back starts. Luis Severino and Christian Scott are trying to still figure it out. But if Sean Mania can continue to be a bulldog out there, not necessarily go as long, but this is what you're going to get from a third or fourth starter. And I like to see it.
The best thing that came out of the Mania start, not only that he did a good start, but kind of like what you're saying, one walk. Beautiful. We're getting, we were concerned about all the walks that the staff was giving up, and I think we're starting to get that under control. And as we saw in the Severino game, the walk is what got him in trouble, right? Sean Mania having one walk today is excellent. I love to see that.
Absolutely. So, it could even be up to him as we get into. I know you'll talk about a little bit about our stars of the series, but this game really solidified that it was him or Garrett as the stars of the pitching stand. And but we'll leave that up to you guys. Who you thought pitched better, and who was more crucial into this series? Was it Reed Garrett or Sean Mania? I think they were both exceptional in this series, but consistency. We want to continue to see this as we continue on through the season.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's that's the key, right? Who was the better pitcher of the series? Was it Mania with the five strong innings, or Garrett with the continues not to give up runs?
Yeah, and I wanted to say one more thing on this series, just about our hitting standpoint. It was about Mark Vientos and Brett Beatty splitting time, and um, it seems like it's working out for the Mets. So I hope that they continue to keep what they're doing right now. Brett Beatty is getting the when he gets the opportunity, he's executing. He was able to drive in a run today, and so is Mark Vientos. And it's like we talked about, that friendly competition that might do well for them both. But at the same time, we need consistency there too. We need to see an everyday starter. Obviously, you know how we feel. We like Brett Beatty over here. We don't think Mark Vientos has the defense, even though he is able to put bat on ball a lot of the time. A lot of the time, it is popping it up, and sometimes it's striking out too. But he is able to drive and run, so it'll be interesting to see how they attack that moving forward, because I don't think it's sustainable the way that we have the platoon role right now.
Yeah, and we'll get that our concerns part of the section, but so we kind of had a standout of the series, and we think that guy's Nimmo. He had 3 runs scored yesterday, and a couple more runs scored today, and a big home run in the ninth. And the standout batter of for the Mets this series is Brandon Nimmo. And let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into the concerns. For me, that's the biggest concern, is how they're gonna. One, we need somebody to back up short and third. I know Beatty's not the guy. I know we're doing it for now, but Beatty's not the guy. And how is this platoon situation going to work out? That's my biggest concern. That and McNeil. I'm still going to say McNeil, but right now, my focus is on how they're going to do this platoon situation, because at the end of the day, you know, I still believe you need to let Beatty play, and let him work it out. Again, he's paying for Bader and McNeil not producing. Like if Bader and McNeil produce series like this, they have great series. But if they produce like they like the series, we wouldn't even be talking about Beatty right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's, I would like to see how it comes out. We're going to face 3 Writers in a row in Cleveland, so I'd like to see how this works out.
Yeah, and I do hope he gets the starts here, because I think it really has affected his confidence. We saw even when he had a bad error. Well, it wasn't an error, but it ended up being changed to a hit in the third game. We could tell that he was kind of in his own head, kind of beating himself up because he didn't make that play. Because I think he knows his job is in jeopardy if he's not able to provide the defense. Because obviously Mark Vientos is doing a lot better than him with the bat. Not a lot better. He's doing better, more flashy things, I think. Obviously, he's still getting out at the same amount of clips. But yeah, like you said, we wouldn't even have this discussion if it wasn't for Mark Fient or for Harrison Bader and Jeff McNeil. And it just is unfortunate that now is the time that they're starting to produce, because now it's costing him to have playing time, and now he's not being able to have that spot every day, and he'd like to, and like his development would progress. I think his development would progress a lot better if he was able to play every day, especially against lefties, because that's been his gripe the whole year. But at the end of the day, you can't do anything about it, because Mark Vientos has made his stamp here to stay. But well, it'll be an interesting series, to say the least. They've given both of those guys the cushion. They've given them the leash. It's just a battle to see who gets sent down first.
Yeah, no, and we'll see, because I don't think I still don't think Beatty's going to be sent down, just because of the defense. And Vientos has to produce at a you know at a record clip for that to be the case for him to take over the job, just because his defense is still very questionable, and so that's I don't see that happening just because Viento's defense. He's going to be a solid hitter, as we can see, but I don't think he's going to be an all-world hitter to kind of win that spot because that's what he's going to have to be to kind of win that spot, right? Because his defense isn't there, and so I don't see that happening. And again, who's going to back up our middle infield? Can't be Beatty.
Yeah, no, it's a problem. It's a problem. My other concern with this series is obviously the walks. It continued to plague us in game one and game two, and our relievers weren't able to do the job this time around because our starters weren't able to keep it to a minimum. Uh, Even though Luis Severino went 7 innings, he walked I think four in that game, and it cost him towards the end. Ended up taxing his run count, and so it continues to be a problem that the Mets need to face. I think they lead the league in walks right now, and um, it, you can't sustain winning this way, right? So it all has to click at the same time with these Mets. When the hitting is not there, the pitching has to be there, uh, when the pitching is there, the hitting needs to be there too. And it seems like we have not had that right chemistry so far this season. We have the talent. I think that everyone sees that we have the talent, but everything needs to be clicking on all cylinders for us to be a winning baseball team.
Yeah, no, for sure, or at least competitive. so, so yeah, those are the couple concerns that we have. So let's jump into the who's right part of the podcast. As far as the hitters, none of us had Nemo, so we both lose out on that one. Our pitchers, none of us had Mania or Garrett, so we lose out on that one. And as far as the Mets killer is concerned, you picked De La Cruz and I picked Chaz, and it wasn't neither of those. It was more of their bottom of the lineup that kind of killed the Mets, and so that no points awarded all game long. So it's crazy, but what can you do? Let's get into the preview tomorrow. McGill's coming back. McGill is going to be pitching for us against Lively. This is going to be a tough series because Cleveland's like won 6 in a row or something like that. They're just coming off their sixth win, a walk-off win today against Minnesota. This is the game two is the game. I don't know. Man, I know I'm going to watch it, but I don't know why. But it's Hauser Carrasco. I don't know why Hauser's pitching. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess I don't know. I honestly don't know why Hauser's pitching. But and then in game three on Wednesday, we got Quintana versus the Cleveland's best pitcher, Tristan McKenzie. So that's the series. It's going to be a tough series. They're a first place team. They're coming on a 6-game winning streak, and we salvaged the last game of every series so far. So let's see what we do. But what do you think of the series?
We got to get ahead on this one. We got to take the momentum from this lineup that we've had the past couple of days and continue to produce runs against these pitchers. They're solid. They're a solid rotation. I think they all have around a 3 ERA, except Carrasco. We know how Carrasco pitches, and I would say that'd be the game to win if Hauser wasn't pitching. It is a head scratcher as to why he is pitching. But when you send down Budo and Lucchesi, you don't have faith in Lucchesi, then it leaves you to have Hauser in there. And so it might just be one of those moves that the Mets have to make this early in the season because they were desperate for pitching. And unless there's hope that Hauser can keep us in the game long enough. If not, it's just going to be a slugfest. And I kind of like the Mets in a slugfest. I think that they can take it away, and they can. I think our bats can continue to produce. I know that, and we'll get into our Mets killers in a little bit. But I know that some of their bats have been extremely hot as well. But let's hope that McGill can come back, not walk at the not walk the world, keep the runs down, and keep us in the game long enough to take this series opener. This is going to be so important to take this series opener.
No, for sure, for sure. And so let's get into our predictions. Who do you think is going to be? Oh, wait, you went first the last time, didn't you? So let me go. I'm not going to sleep on this guy anymore. I'm gonna go first, and I'm not going to sleep on this guy anymore because they knocked him down to the 3 hole, and you already know my guy's going to be Brandon Nimmo.
All right, yeah, that's solid choice. Brandon Nimmo is always a safe bet to go with because he leads the team in RBIs. But I think that Francisco Lindor will have a great series. I think this is the first time that he goes back hitting to play in Cleveland, right? And so this is going to be a familiar territory for him. He's going to have that same atmosphere where he was able to be that all-star hitter and defensive shortstop. And I think that he breaks out this series batting in that leadoff hole in familiar territory.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with that, and I'm hoping for that. To be honest with you, it's one of those things that he's going back. Last year when he played against Cleveland, it was in City Field, so it's gonna be awesome to see. He's looking forward to it, and so I'm excited for him to break out. But I'll let you go and pick the pitcher of the series.
The pitcher of the series, well, I'm gonna go with the starter again because he's coming back and he looked good in the minor leagues. So McGill has to pitch well, and if he doesn't, then it's gonna ruin the series for us. If he can't go for length, then that's going to hurt us for the rest of the series. So this is me throwing it all on the table. This is me going all in. McGill, don't prove me wrong. I'm going with you, my boy. Come on.
I don't know what to say. I guess that's a point for me because I'm gonna go with I think the guy that's going to be our new save ninth inning guy and go with Reed Garrett. Reed Garrett's going to be our closer from now on until Diaz can get back. And imagine if Reed Garrett is the guy that we find can be the closer, and we slot him in as a setup man for Diaz when he comes back. That's a solid eighth and ninth inning right there. And Ottavino can continue what he's doing. So I'm gonna go with Reed Garrett.
That's a tough pick because he pitched the last 2 days, so I don't know how much they're going to use him these next couple of days. So that's tough, man. But you got it. You got it.
Yeah. So the Mets killer, I'm gonna pick the Mets killer. I didn't even think about that, but now that made the pick, I'm gonna leave it at that. He might not pitch till Wednesday, but I'll leave it there. He's one of those guys that got a rubber arm that can pitch all the time. So let's see what happens. But now the Mets killer of the series. I'm a big fan of J Ram, but I'm gonna go with Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor is the guy that I'm gonna pick, and seeing by your face, you're really happy about that.
Yeah, Josh Naylor has been really good. He's doing Josh Naylor things, hitting the ball out. He's got 12 home runs on the season. So that's a good pick by you. I think that the Mets can be beat up by the home run ball this time around. Yeah, but I think that the other guy that's like you said, Ramirez is just right behind him, and he's got 11 home runs, and he's batting pretty well. So I think that he can have a great series. He's obviously the star of their team, and I think that he can have a good series this time around. It's going to be those power bats that might kill the Mets this time.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it is going to be a high scoring game series. As long as the Mets come do their part. Just because unless McGill kind of impresses me tomorrow or today when you're listening to this. And Hauser. I think. I mean, well, game two, I think is going to be high scoring. I think that might be another um, 10-9, 11-10 kind of game. And so I do think it can be a high scoring game. I think the only game that serious, I'm sorry, the only game that I think is going to be lower scoring, I think is going to be the Quintana McKenzie game. Quintana because he's going to bulldog his way through, and McKenzie because that's their best pitcher right now. So I do think that that this is going to be a high scoring series until game three of the series.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right, so down at the farm, honestly, there's not a lot of going on except for Acuna. Uh, Again, I'm saying again, Acuna was playing center field, made a great catch. Bring the boy up. Let's go. Come on. That's all I'm gonna say. Bring the boy up. He's ready to play. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Enough with this experiment. I understand that we signed them for the beginning of the season. I'm talking about Bader right now. We signed them for the beginning of the season, but imagine if we can have Acuna bringing the little spark, base stealing and getting on base kind of guy, kind of spark. I'm not talking about average. That's not what I'm talking about because I don't think, just like he's doing in the farm, it's not like he's doing a lot, hitting the ball like crazy, but he's still stealing runs. He's still walking and getting on base. And that's all we can ask for. I think. Let's get it done. Come on.
I don't know, man. You already know how I feel about that. I think that if Jet Williams can get right, I think he'll be a better suited option at that second base spot. Um, just because he provides an eye at the plate, he provides great defense, a utility guy that can play all around the field, just like Luis Angel, and can also steal bases. So it's going to be a battle between those two. I don't think that there's anybody that's outright won their pushed their way up to the big league. But it's exciting that we get to talk about this stuff, right? When we get to talk about potential prospects, and not feeling completely lost when our guys aren't producing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So bring on Luis Angel up, and that's I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna get out of here because there's not that much else going on. I know McLean hit another home run, but down in Brooklyn. But we're gonna get out of here. But before we get out of here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment. How you feeling about this team? Do you still have confidence? Let us know. You think we should sell the team, like Steve Cohen said a week ago? Sell off the pieces, not sell the team, but sell off some pieces and just shoot for 2025. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know how you're feeling. But before we get out of here, Victor, any last words?
Nah, keep your head on, guys. Keep your head on straight. We're gonna be just fine. We're gonna get through this season together. Can't be any worse than the Mets have treated us these past 40 years. So, and I'm not even, I'm 26, so I'm 20 or 25, but 40 years of misery, right? Just keep your head on. Things are looking up. We got optimism to be had. So, let's go Mets.
All right, y'all. Let's go Mets. See you in the next series.